Well, Coldplay has talked about a sky full of stars in their monumental songs and albums. We are about to witness a rink full of stars. One game already down with the women's side of the All-Stars leading at 6 points to nothing, North over South. Will that be the same case tonight as the men's North team and the men's South team for College Hockey South collide? It's the 2025 CHS All-Star Challenge. Welcome to everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Charlie Serapian and Will Morrow. Chloe Rigdon joins us ringside. Glad to be with you in Clarksville, Tennessee. Will, this is certainly one of the most anticipated matchups for a lot of these players, and you even knew this from your playing days that if you got one chance to play again on the skates and on the rink, doesn't matter who you're against, you'd really be anticipatory for it.
I'd take it in a heartbeat, Spencer, and I would go through the boards for whoever my teammates were. And that seems like what we've got lined up here tonight. It's a lot of all-stars out, a lot of rivalries getting reheated, a lot of people, a lot of players seeing each other. When they haven't for a while, it's been 2 months since that CHS playoff wrapped up in Athens, Georgia. And now we're back with a little more spring hockey. Should be a fun one.
And Charlie, this is a fantastic roster on both sides. The majority of the Division I men's team, you have a good mixture of Division II players, a handful of D3 players, but it's especially good because Division II was so good this year in CHS play.
Absolutely. I mean, you were talking about Coldplay. This game should have a lot of magic. Two great teams with a lot of talent, a lot of high-powered offenses. Both teams with high-octane offenses. However, you should also see some really good goaltending here for both these teams. Stacked rosters. I'm expecting nothing but awesomeness.
And I'm sure you're especially happy to see Drew King leading the other side here of the men's North team. Good to see the UTK coach leading the charge.
Absolutely. Always good to see a couple of fellow balls out there, Spencer. This one should come down to just an action-packed, skills showcasing game.
And Will, the interesting part on the South side, they're led by one lone coach, Kyle Nell, Commissioner of College Hockey South.
I was just going to bounce off of that, Spencer. It's so convenient that you should say that because the coach, the lone coach on the South side, is the Commissioner of the College Hockey South Conference, Kyle Nell.
Yeah, it looks like they've got somebody else joining them over there on the benches now. At least from what we were given, there was another coach to be determined. It looks like they determined who it was, but Kyle now not unfamiliar with this, was one of the coaches on the bench for the CHS Europe Tour back in January, where he got to travel with the respective players who were also representing in the All-Star scene, so should be a lot of fun. We're about to get into the in-stadium introductions to our public address announcements. We get things going here just north of the Music City. got a chance to talk with Kara in between the games. She mentioned she didn't have a warm-up, and she usually does a warm-up inside of the locker rooms. Well, sounded warmed up to me, and we've had our warm-up with this women's all-star game earlier, and time to see what the men can do and if they can perform up to the hype. Hopefully not as one-sided as we saw this earlier matchup, Will, but hoping we at least have a good matchup.
I was going to say, Spencer, hard to call a 13-5 route a warm-up. That was
we're warmed up at least on the broadcast side. Our pipes are good. You two are good. Mine a little bit from the producer side from the last game.
We'll ease you into it, Spencer. Don't worry.
Maybe take some notes from the national anthem, girl. I mean, again, she killed it. 2 for 2. Unbelievable. This should be a fun one, though.
She's pursuing her master's degree at Austin Peay State University as well, so in the graduate school grind, which several of us know all too familiar. We'll hear from Chloe Rigdon in a moment, who knows it very well. And several of these players as well, graduate students, have an extra year COVID eligibility, or with College Hockey South, they have about 6 years total that they could play if they remain in college, and several players ending up taking that sort of route, and a lot of them get the honor of being here at this year's All-Star Game. And away we go from the Ford Ice Center in Clarksville as this gets poked at first. The South team trying to fend it off in their own zone, and this will be O'Connell who will try to take it along the boards to get us started for this first 15 seconds of play. And back in possession along the blue line, O'Connell will dump it back down as this will head down the length for an icing. North in red, south in blue, and let's go ahead and hear for her sideline debut for the first time today, Chloe Rigdon. Hey there, Chloe. One of many opportunities, as Chloe mentioned, where these players get to bond with each other. I know the last game there was a discussion of players as this gets swallowed up. Shot from the outside by Brady Basher, the sophomore from Florida Atlantic, a team that had a deep run to win the Division II National Championship in AAU play.
Yeah, again, both these teams I'm expecting a lot of facilitating, and we're going to see how they mesh together. We saw in the women's game how as the game went on, things started to work out a little bit better, but we should see these teams start to connect as the time goes on.
Auburn University's Callan Daly with a shot on net that goes off of the pads of the goaltender. A good opportunity as Callan Daly will get it back inside for a shot. Another great save, and the South will stop it up. Whistle blown by the referee, maybe too early there. As looks like we may have had looks like we will get back to action here as the goaltender for the South swallows it up. And South will get this taken back over. About 18:50 left to go in this first period. And this will go back into the neutral zone and into the area of Michael Wool, who tries to fend it inside in front to North's goaltender. A lot of star power, a lot of things you could look at between all of these respective players as is kept in by Penetrante. A chance in front and another great save. A big reason why these goaltenders are great all-stars as this gets scooped up by goaltenders Testino, keeping it out, the senior from Georgia. Back over in the neutral zone. This will get ladled back in across the red line and kept back in. A chance here for the North as they'll shovel it back in. A chance in front. That's in the area and off to the other side. This will get sent back around to the neutral zone. Ogle in possession. Ogle back on. Bailey looking for the pass that skips and deflects off a defender's skate and will head into gets his possession and back up trying to cross it in the middle. This gets cleared out and looked like it was maybe Fontaine or Basher. Here's a chance now for the South as they'll try to shovel bass it back. This opportunity attempted by Cole Valesi and back over into the red circle. It'll be fended off into the neutral zone. And good so far, Will, good defense from both sides.
Absolutely, Spencer. There's been quite a bit of back and forth, but a lot of opportunities shut down
by just quickly jumping on that puck at the boards. A lot of contesting motion. They're stepping up in the zone and shutting down opportunities before they happen.
Back over along the boards in the area of Bailey. This is trying to get it back in is Justin Evans, and this time it gets swallowed up. We're going to try take 2 on this one with audio issues being worked out. Let's hand it over to her sideline debut, Chloe Rigdon.
I visited both locker rooms earlier, and it was such a fun and laid-back atmosphere. These boys are ready to play with the people that they've been playing against all season. I spoke with Tampa boys Jake Penetrante and Kyle Meyer, and they both said that while a regular season game feels more competitive and rigid, an all-star game feels more so fun, and they're ready to be creative on the ice.
Yeah, that's the point we were talking about earlier with Chloe, is didn't get picked up on, but really these players absolutely have a love for being able to work with each other.
Absolutely, and again, just to point out, as we got a breakaway here opportunity.
Breakaway shot that gets saved by the South's goaltender and Rocco Bruno, the star for Florida Atlantic, who helped lead the team to a national championship with his 94.6 save percentage.
Absolutely. I just want to say both these goalies looking really sharp so far. Ryan Testino back there. Keep in mind, College Hockey South Goalie of the Year for Division I. So far, he's made some pretty good saves, bailed out his team right now. He's looking sharp.
Dietz tried to get a shot back in off a defender, and the North will try to send it back up as they'll get it back into the possession of Nick Reniger, the captain for the University of Alabama. Reniger with Siciliano on the outside, looking to set up the play as he gets a switch in front, and this will head back into possession of the South. Fighting for it is several defenders, Cavallero and company. O'Connell will deal it back. Almost a chance for Dietz. He had the better of Banas as well as Patillo as this goes back to the other side. Siciliano in the area will watch and receive the pass initially as Andrews will pick it back up. A graduate student from the University of Tampa in the initial possession as this goes back to Brady Bayshire. Bayshire, a fight for it. Trying to slice for it is the player in red. Looked like Carson Scove with the shot as that'll go off of the pads of the South's goaltender, Rocco Bruno. About 15 and a half left in this first period. No goals yet from either side, which that does have an impact on which teams win the overall All-Star game, as Riggins will ladle this back on the pass. Franklin inside, trying to get through past the circle. And this will go back over into the other side. Right wing almost possessed there by the goaltender. That was Testino trying to scoop it up there. And both sides not having the same amount of goaltenders. North having 3, 2 for the South as this shot goes off of Bruno. Bayshire in possession. He's got a 2-on-2. Bayshire trying to pass it forward, and good defense by Cooper as this goes along the backside of the net. And around to the right corner. Gets sent back over inside of the right circle and back out past the blue line. Cooper with another chance as he's got 2 defenders around him, but lets the puck back to Riggins with a shot, and it gets gloved by Rocco Bruno.
Tough opportunity there, loose puck in the middle. It seemed like the North just overskated that puck a little bit into the offensive zone, or in their defensive zone, pardon me, giving Riggins a nice opportunity, but the goaltender flashes the glove, and this is still a tie game, 0-0.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both teams are getting some good looks at it right now. It's just been the goaltenders really controlling and establishing their dominance in this game. But as time goes on, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more quality shots coming in the net.
A good feed in by Penetrante as that shot was attempted by Grant Dietz and will head out of play. So as we talked about with the point system, the women's side already has a 6-0 lead in favor of the North, with them winning in 2 periods, as well as winning a game by 4 goals or more and the game in regulation. So it gets them up to 6 points with their wins in the second and third period, as this goes back down into the neutral zone. The men trying to do the same, but neither of them have scored at this point, as Penetrante goes with a shot and went off of the pads of Testino. Back over Cowart will send it in. Penetrante in the area goes past the stick, possession there of Wool, as the North will clear the zone, hand up by the official, and they will let it go down and wave off the icing with the pursuit of the puck from several different players. Reniger and company trying to fight for it in the section as Wool will get this back out to the neutral zone, but it's sent in. Gallon Daly on the left wing with a shot, and Rocco Bruno will shut it down.
Neither side has really had a clean opportunity yet, Spencer. You've seen a lot of shots on goal thus far, but nothing they really want, nothing convenient. They're got to dig further in those dirty areas. We saw so many goals on the women's side scored just down low in the crease, tight inside. They've been blocking that box well, though, this South team, keeping their goalie safe.
As this gets sent back down the length of the ice and will be whistled for an icing.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this South team, they're very talented. It looks like they're getting quality shots. But just remember, the North team, they have the College Hockey South Division I Coach of the Year, Goalie of the Year, and MVP of the College Hockey South. Again, Drew King coaching, Ryan Testino, and then John Riggins. So a star-studded offense. I'm expecting big things from guys like Riggins to really get going.
A great opportunity by Ogle on the steal. Rocco Bruno shutting it down again. And you have to be careful if you're the South defense in this All-Star Challenge, especially it benefits when you have Rocco Bruno, but you don't want to let up opportunities like that in your own zone. Just over 13 left to go in this first period as this will be sent back down in the area of Fontaine. That's the sophomore from the University of Tampa. Fontaine will sling it back around to reset to set up the play from the blue line as O'Connell tried to shovel it in as this gets dumped down almost on net and icing is waved off. Bailey in possession here with the pass in front, looking for an opportunity. That was a good chance from Brendan Flaherty, but couldn't fire it. And now another chance here for the South as they lose the puck and Ogle will get it back in possession. Bailey will take it back with another pass dealt back here to Nicholas Fontaine. No one in the middle. Maybe it was Bailey if they had gotten the pass off as this goes back past the trapezoid and the South will get back in possession. They have a chance with some 3-on-3 here. Good puck work as that'll go into the swallowed possession of Ryan Testino.
I was just about to compliment the North on this, Spencer, but the South nailed it right there. Those clean breakaways as if these have been rehearsed. And these teams don't practice together. These are fresh lines consisting of kids from across College Hockey South. They don't play together this often, so to see that much chemistry in the passing, these buttery smooth breakaways, or breakouts, it's really impressive to see.
South trying to fight for it, but the North will get it back. Try to get Siciliano on a breakaway, but won't get the better of several of the players there, including Grant Dietz, who's still got the puck. Grant Dietz trying to get it back out to Murphy. Murphy will look for a pass to get off and will settle for it himself, but a fight between him and Anthony Bonas. Dietz back up. He'll pass this over back to Dietz. He actually received that from another player, I beg your pardon, as Dietz will go for a shot. And another save by Ryan Testino, the star senior from the University of Georgia, has been pretty consistent on his career with staying above the 90% save margin, which especially in the club level is pretty good.
You know, Spencer, he's going to have to be sharp here because you got 3 Florida Atlantic players out there, including Christian Cuccia, 28 goals on the season, MVP of D3, so he's got to be careful here.
Murphy, Israel with the shot, another pad save by Testino. You're right about him having to be sharp, and he has been. A big reason why he got the College Hockey South Star of the Month back in November for his incredible performance on the season. As he gets back outside of his crease a little bit, Dietz, the danger fended off here by Siciliano, a star from Middle Tennessee on the year, helped lead him into a deep run in the AAU Nationals tournament. About 11 minutes left to go here in this opening period of the All-Star Challenge for the men's scene. Men have their respective skills challenge tomorrow afternoon at 12:30. Then they have their 12:30 game on Sunday to wrap things up here from Clarksville. Scove dumped back to Riggins. Riggins looking for Scove, maybe on a pass, tried some fancy skate work, and will keep it in his possession to look back over to Getz. And trying to weave it through here, back over to Getz, getting back to Riggins from the circle on a pass off, looking for the shot. It goes high and wide. A good attempt there from the north side of the equation. As that was Bryce Cooper on the shot, trying to get a deflection off of Scove. There was the shot attempt from James Getz as this will go back out. Trying to get it in Spranklin, but couldn't get it past Rocco Bruno. And now the South will fend off the danger as this gets bounced along the boards.
I can already hear my former coaches screaming at me to hit the gosh darn net, Spencer. That shot went high and wide, a couple redirected out in front. Not a lot of puck luck here. Let's see if that changes.
Riggins with the pass, another save by Rocco Bruno. It was a good opportunity on the backside there for the North. Spranklin was looking for the net. As this goes back out to the neutral zone, in possession, Ryan Andrews, the graduate student from Tampa out of New Jersey. As the South try to fend off the danger, and they do for the moment as this gets back out to the neutral zone. Owens in the area. Right side, Griffin lets it off, and North get back in possession. Here's a quick rush. John Riggins trying to get off of the pass, gets checked into the boards by O'Connell, and in the front of the net was Carson Scove. As this will go back out, Marshall will try to possess it from the circle, looking to go on time for himself, and another chance in front, gets fended off by the defense for the moment. Marshall trying to weave through with a shot, and it's another save off of 2 attempts on Testino.
So one thing I do notice, both head coaches, what they're trying to do is keep those lineups kind of very similar. They're keeping a lot of players from each team playing at once. I saw 3 Tennessee players at once out there. We just saw 3 Florida Atlantic players. So they're trying to just keep that chemistry out there on the ice as long as possible, even though there's 2 very diverse teams.
Face-off, fended off. Here's Daly, dumped back to Frazier, and he's offside.
That was the right call, Spencer. Step over, certainly. Bring this one back.
You almost think it's a challenging call to make, too, when you have 3 officials on the ice for this one instead of 4.
And minimal replay review available. That's a tight call to make, but it was the correct one in this circumstance, and we'll see the face-off kick back to the North.
Daly will dump it back in the area of Banas, or tried to possess it, but this squeaks out into the neutral zone and gets gloved down by Wool. Wool with Marshall in the area tried to weave it around 3 red jerseys as Penetrante pokes it forward. Penetrante looking to weave it around himself. We'll get back over in the area. This over to Will Marshall. And the North defenders will send out the danger. Here's a quick rush. Callan Daly, whose name has been called a lot with how fast he's been. Isles has got a 3-on-1. Frazier with the pass. Callan Daly with a backhanded shot, and several saves by Rocco Bruno. Another save on the right side of Rocco Bruno. And the North keeping the pressure on. Another pass, another save. Rocco Bruno showing why he's a national champion. Marshall on the right side of Testino will reset to try and pass it off, and here's a chance for a shot, and they go in for the score. After 3 shots faced on the other side, Nicholas Fontaine will send it in. There may have been Cole Valesi. Either way, it could have been any of these All-Stars on here, but it looks like it's going to be Nicholas Fontaine, the sophomore out of Tampa, to get the South on the board first.
Now Fontaine just cleanly enters the zone through these backboards, finds an opportunity for a short side shot, and he takes it. I'm not sure what he saw stick side, but he liked it, and it worked out, and this South team has a lead, much like we saw in this women's game to lead off the night, Spencer.
Again, periods where a team leads gives them a point in the overall All-Star Skills Challenge, so how you perform makes a huge difference. We saw the women's game also end in a 1-1 tie at the end of the first as this gets batted away by Bruno.
Don't call it a period just yet, Spencer. We got 7:30 left to play, and the North is chipping away at it.
Chance here for Justin Evans trying to dump it in. Fontaine in the area looking for his second goal. Israel tried to fight for it as Cooper will try to reset. And he'll get a chance to reset here. Cooper past the blue line. Dump it forward, Ogle, the Blue Raider. Ogle trying to weave it around. Another shot loose in front of Bruno, trying to go on the follow-up, and it says no goal per the official. Maybe looked like a celebration at first for one of them, but quickly saw the official's signal.
The puck was certainly loose up in there, Spencer. It got caught a little bit between the pad and the stick of the goaltender. Couldn't secure it with the glove. Creates an opportunity either way.
Well, that puck was secured off of the glove of Testino. Looked like Israel trying to go for a shot there. The senior from Florida Atlantic out of Toronto, Canada, who in the 6 games that he had down in Jacksonville in the deep run for the Owls to win the Natty, 4 goals, 11 assists, 15 points.
We're a long way from Ontario, Spencer, but it seems like the skills translate.
Long way. It feels maybe just at home with it being on the ice level. As this gets swatted at here by Sullivan, the South Florida player from Hermantown, Minnesota. Flaherty from the blue line got that broken up by Dietz. As they'll go down to Dietz, almost touched off of his stick. If it had been there, they did wave off icing with the deep pursuit of the puck. As this is a chance for the South to maybe set something up, but they will have to reset with 2 players being offside. As Dietz will weave it around as both of them get onside. And this will go back around. Dietz will dump it into the trapezoid. Palmer will send it back over. Back up past the circle. Trying to get it back in is Cavallero. Cavallero, this will squeak back out past the blue line, and a chance on the right side for Reese Gulata as this gets possessed in front of the net. South trying to clear the zone, and they do to get this back out for a chance at a 2-on-2. Left wing, a let back, trying to go for the shot. It goes high and wide, and trying for another pass, another shot, and another save, Testino. Chance around the backside again. They'll set this up. This is Grant Dietz on possession, trying to pass it off. Some good move by Griffin as the puck gets loose, and Middle Tennessee's player fends it off. Another shot that Testino fended off. Cavallero fired it from the left side of Testino. Back out past the blue line into the neutral zone. This will be possessed by North's Gulata, and back in possession here is Trace Coward and company, and here's a chance for Bezier, trying to weave it around in a great defensive maneuver by Anthony Banas to prevent a shot from going off. This back over, trying to ladle it in, Bezier. And there's a shot and a goal on the follow-up in front. Owens will sink it in, and it's now 2-0 for the South.
And you know, it's the South. They are doing such a good job at just controlling center ice, getting opportunities on the North's side of the end. They're doing really good. And again, just keeping in mind, Will, another thing to look at is this is all being set up from Rocco Bruno. Rocco Bruno has been so good on the opposite side of the ice, just stopping pucks from going in. It's creating opportunities for the South to come down the other side of the ice and score like that.
I agree 100%, Charlie. He's given his team a little bit of boldness, a little bit of confidence. If they have confidence on that back end, they're able to step up a little bit and play a little more confidently in the offensive zone. We've seen it from Grant Dietz. He's playing tough, and this South team is rolling early.
The North trying to get one of their own as Bruno will scoop up that shot attempt from the North's Carson Scove, the junior from the South Carolina Gamecocks. Carson Scove was a College Hockey South Star of the Week in Week 6. Feels like a long time ago with how long this season lasts. The junior from Lawrenceville, New Jersey. He just celebrated his 22nd birthday back in December, which hard to believe it's been 4 months since then at this point, as we now get back into the neutral zone with 4:12 and winding down, and it's an offside for the attempted rush there from Mitchell Spranklin. Just over 4 minutes remaining in this first period. CHS All-Star Weekend in Clarksville, just north of the Music City in Nashville, Tennessee. Back across the blue line, this North All-Star men's team trying to set something up in front for Spranklin, and it went wide. Too powerful as Riggins will get it back out just outside the blue line. Riggins trying to set this up. He'll shovel it forward and intercepted by the South. Bezier with a chance, couldn't weave it around Cooper, and Cooper will send this back out to the neutral zone as they've got numbers for a 4-on-1 in transition. Riggins on the outside will pass it for the follow-through, and Rocco Bruno standing strong in net to keep the shutout goals alive as this goes back around the other side with a shot. This goes Bezier, and the shot won't get fired off on target. South trying to set this back up. Testino did get a piece of it as Wool tried to fire it on net. And now the North will reset. North will dump this back outside of the circle. Here's Marshall. Send it back. Penetrante with a shot. It looked like it almost could have been followed up on the attempt there. It was in the area. of one of the South players who could have gotten there. Maybe Wool. Marshall will try to get this back out, and it's scooped up by the Nords. Tyler Isles. Flaherty, I don't know how he got that out of the air with his stick. That pretty much a lacrosse-style grab on there as this goes back. Flaherty on the other side of the circle as they'll swap it and try to get this set back up. Almost intercepted there by Penetrante. And now the South back with numbers. Wolf firing a shot that goes high of the post and take it back in. Testino trying to fend it off. It does. Daly, Penetrante has it back. Penetrante to set up the play. On the outside, it's Murphy. Murphy trying to poke at it. This gets poked forward. Nick Reniger, the star from Alabama's Division I AAU team, loses sight of the puck as this gets sent back out. And fighting for it, Daly, north in front trying to go for a shot, and Bruno will fend it off again. Here's Reniger trying to dump it in and got it in the area of several of his all-star teammates. But this will send back along the boards, back to Reniger on the blue line. Usually he's the one in front as they couldn't get a deflection off of the attempt there from Frazier. That was the junior from the Ice Vols. As this will send back down the length of the ice, and North will get a reset here. As this gets dumped in the area, Murphy Frazier will get it in, and it's ruled not offside. Now the South's Cole Valesi, the junior from Tampa. Will dump it back. Murphy got in possession. Evans in the area. South trying to set up another opportunity in front as they lead 2-0. As this gets sent dangerously in front, Testino didn't have to worry too much as Evans will send it back for an attempted pass in front as this goes back to the trapezoid. North will fend off the danger in the area. There is Bailey and company. 1 minute left in this first period as this gets sent back in front. A dangerous shot attempt there from Brendan Ogle as Patillo just looks for the puck as it goes back out in the neutral zone, and Ogle will send it back in. Bailey in transition on the substitution. Bailey with the pass should have probably taken the one-timer as he ended up passing this off to DeMumbrum, who couldn't fire the shot. It was a golden opportunity with the substitution error as this goes back from the right circle and a shot off of Bruno. And this gets loose again. Bruno lost sight of the puck, and somehow, some way, it didn't end up in the back of the net. 22 seconds left as this goes down the other way. Nicholas Fontaine trying to get an opportunity for his teammate in Sullivan. And we got a hand up for a penalty. And yes, there are penalties in the All-Star Challenge.
Been waiting on that one since the women's game. We missed about 4 or 5 tripping calls. But yes, we do indeed have penalties. Although,
at least that's what the whistle, maybe a high stick it was called, but not to the level of having a penalty. You do have stoppages. We'll leave it at that. Dietz on net. Testino swallows it up.
Maybe the ref was just excited. I don't know. He's put his hand up there. Going back towards the other side of the ice, Ryan Bailey, the junior out of the University of Georgia, had a wide open lane right in front, just lost it, couldn't control the puck, but it was a good look. The North's getting those good looks. They just can't capitalize right now.
And in the final expiring seconds, they could not get one more shot on Testino, and that is going to take us to the end of this first period. The South have had all the answers on the goal tide, and here's another person to give us answers. It looks like Nicholas Fontaine is on standby with Chloe Rigdon. Chloe?
All right, I'm with Nick Fontaine, and Nick, you're on a team with people that you've never played with before. Tell me what that's like, and how did you prepare for this?
I mean, a few of the boys in Tampa, we skated before this, and then just in the locker room met each other, and now here we are. So it's a pretty easy transition because we all play against each other, so it's pretty easy.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the chemistry? Tell me how that's going.
Well, I mean, obviously I'm playing with 2 Tampa kids, so it's pretty easy for me. Then on the defensemen, different players, but it's just really cool experience all around.
All right, well, thank you so much, Nick.
Thank you.
Mentioned it's a cool experience all around. They're certainly getting that now, but at least for the North side, they're going to have to rebound in this one. 2-0 lead for the South here as we go to the first intermission. We'll be back after an ice cut here in Clarksville. Start of the second period of action in the 2025 College Hockey South All-Star Challenge Men's Game 1. It's a 2-0 lead for the South in favor of the North. They've swapped sides as we have a freshly Zambonied sheet of ice here. If you want to say Zambonied, I mean, not as bad as our colleague, Ryan Brennigan saying he's not a Zambonologist a couple of weeks ago in Jacksonville. But
should be clean out there, no ice dust on the floor.
Just a note to our producer, James, Zambonied is absolutely a verb.
Yeah. Flaherty will dump this back into the neutral zone, and this goes back out to Isles, who will send it. Reniger will deal it back down, as Frazier will take it from the left circle, trying to pass it in. Isles on a backhanded attempt there, as it's another save from Rocco Bruno. Well, this schedule is what you got for the rest of this weekend. You're in progress, the men's team North versus men's team South. You got the skills competitions coming up tomorrow at 10 a.m. and 12 o'clock Central Time, and then Sunday, 10 a.m. and 12:30 Central for the women's and men's final games on Sunday to wrap out the night. I'm sure that schedule was purposeful to allow people to enjoy Nashville and festivities around the great area, as this gets into the back of the net for a score. A goal from the South, and this will be goal number 3 that is scored by the junior from the University of Tampa, Cole Valesi.
Nice tape-to-tape passing there. Just saw an opportunity down low, picked it up, picked that corner, and we got a 3-0 game here. And a replay on that goal, thankfully.
The South starting off hot into this second period, trailed over from the first. They were really careful, very cautious in their plays in that first period, and they might get another here, but right now it looks like it's been all South, contradictory to what we saw in the women's matchup.
South has already gotten 1 point as this goes in for an attempted shot and score. The North get on the board for the first time this night, and it's the College Hockey South star of Week 12 and in November in Ryan Bailey.
There we go. South turnover in the neutral zone, gets kicked out in front. Taking himself. There's nobody else from the North touches that puck.
Beautiful move. I mean, just the ability to get in there and just get that puck down low. Again, he was really able to just sneak it past into the crease, get it right in the back of the net, and they respond. 3-1 hockey game.
The junior from the number 1 seeded Georgia Bulldogs manages to get it in the back of the net to make the score 3-1, still in favor of the South. Banas trying to sink it through. And you would think with this North team as well, with so many stars they have from Middle Tennessee, that they would be able to break through, but it's also difficult when you have players from Florida Atlantic on the other side. DeMumbrum trying to deal it in, it gets squeaked away. This is off of the South's goaltender. It's actually Kyle Meyer who is now in instead of Rocco Bruno here, the junior from Tampa. The Division I men's team that won the Nationals tournament at the start of March down in Jacksonville. Patillo on the right wing will go back in, tries to swap it, and another save there off of the stick of Kyle Meyer. Palmer tries to set this up. They'll sling it around as Siciliano with a shot. He goes top shelf and scores. Wow. Matthew Siciliano, the junior from the Blue Raiders.
Just a great cycle set up here for the North as the floodgates are beginning to open on the opposite side here. Puck beautifully passed into the slot there, picked another corner, and we got a 3-2 hockey game here in Clarksville.
Absolutely. What a beautiful shot. Things starting to fall apart here for the South as the Norths getting back up on top, just finding opportunities, getting right in there. What a shot from Siciliano.
Siciliano opening things up. It's, keep in mind, a 2-1 lead in favor of the North, so they could at least get a point tied back with winning the second period. Still plenty of hockey left as this gets chased down. Ogle trying to get an opportunity as this gets sent back along the boards. I beg your pardon, that's Dietz who was fighting for it and is still in pursuit as this goes back into the area of Lyndon Palmer. And back out to the neutral zone. In possession is Tim O'Connell. And now it's back over, and trying to get it over there was Gulata. And now the South will try to fend it off. Siciliano has got it back in his possession, gets it poked away by the defender. Siciliano still in pursuit as he fights it off there with Cavallero. Gets And Kusia fighting for it. Gets trying to ladle it back. This goes on the back side of the net. Back out from the right circle and looking for an opportunity. Stick gets picked back up and was fought for there. That was Gulata who lost his stick. Griffin from the right side of the goaltender. Griffin back inside. Kusia trying to go for a backhanded pass and a great save there. It loose in front. Somehow, some way, it gets kept out there by the North's goaltender, Tyler Tomoyan, the junior from South Carolina.
I want to highlight that positioning, Spencer, from Grant Dietz, number 17 in blue. He was hanging at that blue line for so long, waiting for an opportunity, slides in undetected by the back door, and is ready for that shot. What a save to keep him denied so far in this contest.
O'Connell will get back possession there for the South. Owens going to the other side, bounce along the boards. Andrews gets a piece of it. As this will go to Bayshre's possession. Baysher to the other side. Owens in the area. This gets back over. David Israel. And back up in the section. Gets backhanded pass there by Murphy. And stop there as it's gloved away by Tomoyan.
Back there in goal for the North, Tyler Tomoyan. Now, Will Spencer, I'm sure you guys remember the game he had back in Athens, what feels like, I don't know, 2 months ago. Oh my, well, it was
Quite literally was.
Quite literally was 2 months ago. Had an incredible game and actually got the best of that match. A bit of a goalie duel between Ryan Testino and Tyler Tomoyan, but Tomoyan, he really showcased his skills in that game.
Scove with the pass up, trying to get it back over. Murphy clears it out as it's still in, trying to get it off a deflection off of the left side of the goaltender. In the area, Kyle Meyer was not sure where it went loose to as Reniger tries to fight for it. There's Flaherty trying to go in front of his goaltender, and a shot there will almost get gloved up, and it gets sent back down. Carson Scove. Riggins, a 2-on-1. Spranklin, they has the let there to Scove. As this goes back over, Reniger sending it in. Back out from the left circle, Scove trying to go top shelf and didn't have the angle. Good defensive work by David Israel. This goes back out from the blue line, Flaherty. Flaherty with a shot goes wide. As this goes back along the boards, and there's numbers here for the South, a 2-on-1. Reniger in quick pursuit from the right side with a pass and another great save. Great save, a chance there for the South. Andrews tried to shoot it in, and another good goaltending move by Tyler Tomoyan. South here will try to reset about 6 minutes into this second period. Bounce along the boards, Wool. Wool, and a shot that goes off the pad of Tomoyan. Back over and a chance, Daly. Callan Daly with the backhanded shot attempt, couldn't sink it in. He was a star during the Veterans Cup for CHS, trying to make a name for himself in the CHS All-Star Challenge.
Kyle Meyer read that one all the way, Spencer. He went forehand, backhand, quick back to the forehand. That was my move back in the day. It didn't work. Had pretty similar success rate, quite honestly.
This goes dumped down as the All-Stars in the North try to weave it around the defense. Back inside, trying to go for a deflection, and it's loose, and the South will clear the zone. It's back over Carter Sullivan. We'll send it back. We got a 3-on-2 attempt. Wool in front, and this goes past the stick possession of Sullivan. And keeping it onside is Wool as they dump it back in. Manassa in the area as this gets let back to the front side of the net. Or at least it was attempted to, as it was in the area of Frazier. Sullivan will scoop it up, but gets into Isles' possession. Wool. Wool, they'll reset here. Marshall. Marshall along the boards. Marshall looking for a teammate to pass to and had a good opportunity in front for Penetrante as Isles will take it back with the pass. Isles had the pass off initially with the shot. It goes high and wide. This time is attempted there. Looks like may have been one of the other players as Patillo going for a shot. It goes wide of the post. This goes back and bounced along the boards. Chance for Fontaine to set something up. Wool back over Fontaine, gets it broken up by Frazier. Frazier with the dump in to Mumbrum. Bailey to Mumbrum with the pass, tried to get it off, and a good defensive move by the South. To Mumbrum with the backwards pass. Cooper will try to set it up and keep it in the blue line, but it gets intercepted. Valesi has got a skate race. Valesi trying to backhand on the pass, and it was intercepted in perfect position there by Getz. Cooper. Back over to Getz. He'll bounce this back over, and will get sent down into the South zone. South will bounce it along the boards. Valesi will dump it forward. Fontaine tries to get it past the blue line, but it looked like it could have been Justin Evans offside, so didn't opt for that opportunity. Past the red line on the right side. O'Connell trying to fight for it as he gets surrounded by several North All-Stars. This gets back over. Justin Evans fighting for it, looking for a teammate to pass it off to. Evans back along the blue line. Justin Evans trying to weave it through traffic on the pass. He does, but not enough to set up a one-timer. Trying to wedge it along the boards. Just over 11 minutes left of the second period. North will fend it off and get it to the neutral zone. Bailey loses it. Evans back in possession. Forward. Gets trying to weave it through on the backhanded shot, and it's another save as it goes back along. Another save, Tyler Tamoyan. Getz trying to set it up for a pass. This gets dubbed forward. DeMumbrum has got one person to beat, Israel. DeMumbrum with the lead, looking for the one-handed shot. They score! Ryan Bailey from Sugar Hill, Georgia. Oh, how sweet it is to tie it up.
How sweet it is to have a trailer like this, Spencer. He knows he's in trouble right off the bat, drops it perfectly. Spatial awareness was on point. We've got a tie game here.
Absolutely, just the ability to get down and in there and get that top left shot. I mean, you got guys who can score from all levels, top, bottom, middle. He was able to sneak one in there just like that. North is very much back in this game.
So now 3 goals scored by the North team. They're certainly on pace to win the period as this gets sent on the backside. Back over the right circle. Cavallero trying to weave it through traffic. Got off of maybe the shin of one of the players, David Israel, as he winced a little bit. Siciliano off the post with the shot. Siciliano had a rocket there but couldn't get it inside. Cusia trying to pursue it here for the South as it goes back across the blue line. Flaherty. Here's Flaherty past the blue line. Offsides waved off. Flaherty trying to weave it around for a pass and gets broken up. Was too fancy with it. Dietz reading all the way through it. Dietz keeping possession of the puck, trying to weave it around himself. Cusia in the area as Cusia will ladle it back. Israel over to Murphy. That's Cusia, I beg your pardon, as it goes over to the right side for a fired shot that goes high and wide. Cavallero didn't have his way. Murphy on the other side will try to switch it around. Murphy got it back. Cusia in front, and that goes off of the pad of Tamoyan. Tamoyan, one of the star goaltenders for South Carolina in the Division I scene, tried to do all he could in their run in Jacksonville, as well as their run in the D1 CHS playoffs in Athens. This goes back over and got a piece of it there, did Kyle Meyer, as this will get sent back for a switch along the boards. Scove ladles it forward and back into the possession of Cavallero, who will let it there, but Siciliano gets back in possession and may have gotten off of the post there or off of the shoulder pad of Meyer. About 8:49 left to go. Patillo fighting for it on the other side of the blue line. Chance here for Andrews on a breakaway. Goes in, he scores! Andrews through the 5-hole. The native of Oakland, New Jersey, has got the South back in the lead.
It's been looking like that backhand would work for a while now, Spencer. They've been chipping away at this goaltender all night with tight backhands. Then a little bit of hesitation, but not that time. Just about as fast to get to the backhand as I've seen. 5-hole. There's the lead.
I mean, defense to offense took that puck coast to coast, all the way down the ice, snuck it through to Moyen. Such a good player, so dangerous when he breaks away like that. You gotta be careful if you're this North defense, but the South now gets back up on top.
He had 2 goals in his 5 games at AAU Nationals, a total of 3 points with a 1 assist help there. And he's got a 4-3 lead for the South here in this first men's All-Star game. A lot more closely contested competition that we've seen here for the first 2 periods as we get deeper into the second. Back along, Patillo in the area will have to reset for the North and get everybody on side as it is ruled by the whistle there. They didn't get him on side, so let's hand it over to Chloe Rigdon. Chloe?
I visited the Northside locker room earlier, and I spoke with Alabama's Nick Reiniger, and he had his head down, and he was saying that the South just wanted it more and that they're forechecking them and coming for them. And he said this was supposed to be a fun and relaxed game, but now he's feeling really competitive, and he said that he hopes to have a better period. So obviously it looks like it's going a little bit better for them now, but maybe we'll see him finish it out.
Nothing like a couple goal deficit to light a fire under the team.
Well, not only that, when you talk about all-star games, I know there's the perception in the professional leagues that there's not as much effort for it. When you get to the college level, as here's an opportunity that goes from the North, Mitchell Spranklin trying to dart it in. He doesn't get it in, but when you get to these college levels or high school levels on all-star games, it's all effort. There's not a single player who is honing it in this all-star challenge.
Every single individual on this ice has something to prove, Spencer, and I know I'd sell my soul for another shot at being able to do this.
Back over into the north zone. It'll be taken back out to the south zone as Spranklin will dump it over. Riggins trying to pass it off. A one-timer attempt on the follow-through. Another great save by Kyle Meyer. Almost looked like it would have been darted through his 5-hole there. He clamped down his pad as this goes under 7 minutes left to go in this second period. Back at a fire-through shot, a follow-up, and a score. The South back on. Will Marshall from the Division II Florida Southern College team has got a goal in the All-Star Challenge.
This North goaltender has struggled this evening on that back door. He's had a lot of open opportunities where the team, I guess the defense around him as well, just doesn't notice. There's the presence back there. This Southern team sneaky off the blue line, sneaky on the breakaways, and it's leading to some opportunities.
Right place, right time. What a shot the one time they're able to sneak that one in there. Again, 5-3, North slipping away here.
Hard to discount that pass from behind the goal line, too. They found a lot of success making the goalie's eyes move, making his head pivot, distract him. That's all you got to do. Make him move, and you've got goals on the board.
Again, keep in mind the North is leading this second period 3-2 right now, so still hope for them to tie it in points on that metric as this puck goes into the mesh. So I beg your pardon, it's actually tied at 3 in this goal here. It was 2-0 heading into the intermission break, so tied at 3. So you can tell the South is worrying about it right now, as should be the second period right now. Not sure why it hasn't adjusted on either of the scoreboards here, but we're in the second period because we clearly had an intermission that we stopped in between. As we're in period number 2, about 6:12 left to go here in the second frame. This goes along the backside of the boards, a chance for the South to try and fend these things off. And so head back up, David Israel possessing it, and a whistle for on offside.
Yeah, Will, you were talking about kind of getting Tamoyan off his feet. Right now, it looks like those hips don't lie because he's not fooling anybody.
Shakira blasting over the speakers to remind him. But he's got all the motion this evening.
Yeah, a reminder here for any of the YouTube algorithms, this is just playing in stadium. We don't have control over it as this gets shot and gloved in by Kyle Meyer. That's the only thing that gets irritating is that you have copyright infringement that's stacked on there. As well, look at the point system here again. If you win a period, you get a point. Game 1 in regulation, 3 points. If it's a shootout, you got 2 on there. You still get something if you lose the game in a shootout. But also, if you win the game by 4 or more goals, which we saw that metric play out for the women's game earlier. As this gets fired on, trying to get a deflection in front, and this will be sticked away by Meyer. As another offensive generation, Ogle almost took a shot there as Flaherty will sneak it in and score. Flaherty and company get it in, and it's another goal on the board, 5-3 is what the scoreboard says right now, but it's actually 5-4.
Right here, the toe drag by Ogle doesn't quite go, but it's a convenient opportunity, falls to the trailer, and he's got the goal.
Well, maybe he is on tonight because he was able to sneak that in there with little to no effort. What a job by this North team to just kind of stay in this game. They really haven't been out of it. They're still slowly creeping back as time goes on. The South having a bit of a hard time keeping them at bay.
North with a 4-3 lead in this second period to try and get a point tied and then leave it to how things go in the rest of this respective third period coming up in about 5 minutes and a stoppage as Ogle will get a quick burst of speed. Lets it on the other side, trying to get a follow through as that gets stopped by several defenders for the South. And a quick rush down here by David Israel trying to weave through as he will ladle this back in the area of Valesi. Valesi and company, Murphy in the area with a shot. That goes high in on the backside of the net. Back over just outside the circle. Murphy with the pass. This goes over to Sullivan, who will pass it forward with a shot, and it gets swallowed up by Tyler Tamoyan. Or do they rule it?
That top right corner, Spencer.
Okay, normally you have a horn on there, but it's a goal. Team South, it looked like it got swallowed. Not many people reacting there. You had a couple of sticks up, and they rule it a goal.
Receives that pass from the blue line just untouched in the slot there. I don't think they were ready for a shot to come.
They were playing tricks on us. I mean, yeah, Spencer, to your credit, I really didn't see much celebration. Yep. So, like you said, it looks like it did get swallowed up, but it looks like that goal post actually swallowed up that puck because they're going to get a goal.
You think they'd be a little more excited about it? A 2-goal lead in the game here, but B, taking the lead back for that period score.
Tie back up 4-4. Did that one sneak through? Waiting for a signal. I think it did. Yeah, another goal.
What is it with me and this announcer's jinx tonight, Spencer? First with the women's game, and now here tonight as the pass will just, again, cleanly enter the slot, untouched. A little bit of a lackadaisical back check there from the defense, and we've got a 6-5 ball game.
Looking like a seesaw out here, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, teams, they've got smiles on their faces, so do the coaches. We have them up here, too, as looking for maybe another one. Spencer, I don't know. So many goals.
Well, right now, a 5-4 lead for the North, heading things down. You can tell the South knows about that metric as they're keeping the pressure on. Siciliano tries to fire it in on this shot, trying to go through for another one in front. A chance there that was in the area. Lyndon Palmer looking for his first All-Star goal of the weekend. Palmer in possession on the backside of the net, finding off two defenders as Palmer will get it in front. And that went off of the glove there of Kyle Meyer. Thought it was going to go out of the mesh as he didn't see it bounce to his back left side. South will get back in possession. As here goes a chance, Dietz. Dietz will let it. Cavallero trying to weave it through traffic. A save by Tamoyan. Back over trying to get it in front to Sullivan. Cowart goes for the puck. Send it back over Cavallero. Cavallero from the outside, sent back over. Dietz looked like he wanted a one-timer, but didn't get it as Siciliano has got a skate race with Cowart. Siciliano led it back, didn't have a teammate closely in the area, but firing off a shot that stays in play did the South player in number 10, Anthony Manas. This goes over in the area of Bezier. Patillo looking for him as we get a line change in for the South, almost a full personnel change. O'Connell from the blue line over to Griffin, who will try to weave it around traffic and gets the puck lost among several defenders, including Kayla Patillo. Riggins back out in the neutral zone. We'll send this back out. Riggins trying to get a one-timer on that. That goes off of the glass after getting hit off of Kyle Meyer's padding. Back over in front, Riggins has got a chance for himself. Riggins trying to weave it through the defense and couldn't get it to go. Griffin send this back, a dangerous puck in front of the net. O'Connell trying to fend it off, it does. Owens will send it back out in a fight for it as he gets possession in the neutral zone. Owens will try to wedge the puck and does keep it in the north zone. Griffin at the blue line. Here goes Scove. Scove with a shot that goes high and it skips, bounces in. Scove with another goal for the North.
I want to watch this back, Spencer, because it almost looks like it caught the goalie's shoulder here and rolls in over that. This was not anything too fancy. It wasn't bar down or anything like that, but a nice little shot. Yeah, just beats him far side, I think. Goodness gracious. Tie game.
Carson Cove, the junior out of South Carolina. We've seen him do that all season. He loves that top right, top left corner. He shoots those pucks high. This time he was able to get it on target, sneak one in there. And we get one on the other side of the ice as well. It's back and forth. Unbelievable. Talk about an all-star game.
I think he knew that puck was going in before he even shot it. That was confidence.
Absolutely. We didn't even have time to analyze that other goal. Looking back at the replay, coming all the way down the ice, it was Brady Bashir, the freshman from Florida Atlantic's Division II team, able to just get down the ice, get that one in the back of the net. A lot of goals here in this second period.
The native of Fraserville, Traverse, Pennsylvania, was the College Hockey South Star of the Month in November. Manages to bank one in there for a 7-6 lead in terms of the overall score. And I believe we are back to a tie score here in this. Yeah, well, not quite to a tie score. We're at a 6-5 advantage still for the North in terms of winning the period, as this puck tries to go in front, as this go back along the backside. This will go for another fired shot and is gloved down by Kyle Meyer, scoops it out of the air.
And Spencer, in terms of pace, listen, the score is not nearly as broad as we saw the deficit in that women's game earlier at 6 o'clock, but the pace has been very similar here tonight. Through one period we had 2 goals, and now the floodgates are open. We're seeing some crazy shots here tonight. People are taking chances, put pucks on net. As the great Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, just the ability for Brady to get down the ice and just keep the offense going, making it 6-7.
Chance for Israel with a shot that goes out into the mesh after Tamoyan pads it away. 56 ticks left on the clock before we get to the final frame of this men's opening all-star game. As we have on the shot metric on the scoreboard, 15-14 in favor of the North, so a lot of shots. As that bounces off the crossbar, a dangerous opportunity for Marshall as this goes to the other side of the blue line. Israel will wait for the reset and does get it in there. Great opportunity there for Wool as it goes back along the boards. Back over to the blue line, looking for a chance is Murphy. This will get sand from the circle for another shot that goes to the other side. 30 seconds left as this goes about 25. Murphy will send this back up. Good to see Israel back on the ice after he took essentially a puck to the shin, as we got a hand up from the official for a delayed offside call. But no offsides called as all of them got back on. Wool dumping it in. Israel will try to fend it off on the defensive end of the sheet as this goes back over, trying to get it through the netting. As Israel, with final seconds, will just hold it and we'll take it to the final portion of this second period. And, well, we got a point at least for the North in terms of the all-star scoring, as it is now technically tied 1-1 on the points metric in the all-star challenge. And it is also not tied on the scoreboard, a 7-6 score in favor of the South in front of the North. Really has opened up in the second period, as has been the trend for these first 2 all-star games.
Absolutely, yeah. We've seen some confidence. We've seen those first intermission adjustments.
Let's hand it down to Chloe Rigdon, who's got on standby for the North. Looks like got Ryan Bailey.
All right, y'all, I'm with Ryan Bailey from Georgia. And Ryan, you guys had a pretty dominant first period, and now it's a lot closer game. Well, how do you feel about y'all's performance in this period?
I mean, very good. Each period we're just building chemistry and having fun at the same time. Can't complain.
All right, and now what do you want to see out of your team for the next period?
I want my center, Brendan Ogle, to score 3 goals in the third, and then my winger to get like 2.
All right, thank you, Ryan.
I want to give an appreciation to Commissioner Kyle Nell for photobombing us on that interview at the Smirk. He has a lot of hard work that he's doing behind the scenes to get this all going. About 12 minutes until we get back to action here from Clarksville for the third period of the 2025 College Hockey South Men's All-Star Challenge. Final period here for the men's North versus men's South All-Star teams. Final event of the night on this All-Star Challenge weekend. Skills competitions coming up in the morning, 10 a.m. for the women's side. High noon for the men's side on the skills competition, and then 10 and 12:30 on Sunday for the final games to round out All-Star weekend. Spencer Thompson, Charlie Serafian, Will Morrow, Chloe Rigdon joining us ringside. We also got James Shannon on our producer side, director Eli Cornett. Proud to bring you the action here from the Ford Ice Center in Clarksville, Tennessee. One of several Ford Ice Centers in the Middle Tennessee area. A lot of great activity they do for the youth as well as collegiate and high school teams in the area for all of them to play. I think Tennessee, I know they have an ice center they have out in Knoxville, Charlie, and they also have come over here to Nashville to play a couple of games at CHS play.
Yeah, and you know, I had a chance to speak to goalie Patrick Green, who will be getting the start for the third period of play. He said it's hard to wait 2 periods to just sit around until you play goalie. I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm ready to have a fun time.
Start of the third period as we get into play. Again, both teams having 1 point thus far. We'll probably at some stoppage in the rest of the third period go over the points with you again as this gets fired on, and Silman gets the save.
South with points on the board for the first time this tournament. They didn't, correct me if I'm wrong, they didn't get a single point of tournament play out of the women's team.
At least not on their front. They did not winning a single period on there and not even forcing it to overtime in any capacity, which, again, one of those where you do get points if you have it to overtime or to a shootout. And even if you lose, you at least get 1 point to help your case there, as Ogle will go on the right side of the circle and Silliman with a save. Silliman getting back in net, the Division III Florida State University player, native of Ridgefield, Connecticut. He was the College Hockey South Star of the Month in January, so about 3 months ago. Our producer James Shannon saying in the ear that, you know, there's a couple of players on this roster that are from Connecticut in your neck of the woods, Will.
And a couple of these fellows on these rosters I have actually played against in my time as a player back in Connecticut D3. A few at Daniel Hand High School and a few all over the map. So it's nice to see the Connecticut boys represented out here tonight.
30-29 on the shot margin in favor of the North as the South leads 7-6 here in the top of the third. As Cavallero tries to fight for it along the right side of the boards as this gets sent in front of the net, trying to slice at it there was Cusia. This gets dealt out. Cavallero almost took a one-timer, went just past his reach. And Siciliano gets it again, Middle Tennessee. This goes back along the boards as this will go back along the back side here. Chance here for the North as they set up the offensive play. Lyndon Palmer with a shot from distance. Got a piece of it, did Silliman. That's 17:40 left to go in this final frame of game one for the Men's All-Star Challenge. Cusia on the right side of the goaltender. He gets fended off by the defense, but still in possession here for the South is Dietz as this gets fended off to the other side. This will get back out. Reniger in front, trying to go for a shot, and a great save by Silliman. Ladled back in, this time on a poke for it, Murphy, and Scove will get it back. Looked like he could have taken a one-timer, but settled for the pass back. On the right side, trying to go for the switch. Siciliano ladled it back in, could not get the shot off there. Carson Scove in the area. Back off Owens, Murphy. Over to Owens on the right circle, trying to send it in as this goes back out and will be sent back down. Siciliano from Middle Tennessee trying to ladle it back. Owens. Here goes Owens, who will intercept the pass for the South, and Basher will look for a teammate to pass to and does get it off to Andrews, but the pass gets intercepted on the backside as the North's Mitchell Spranklin tries to fend it off. Banas in the area, Basher. Banas a fight for it, and this time Spranklin from the Ice Vols gets it back over the blue line cleanly as Banas will get it back in possession, and it's gloved by Silliman.
Banas had a good look at it there. in front of the goal, senior from MTSU. Just a better save, but that MTSU team, keep in mind, coming off a championship, a Division II championship not too long ago in Fort Lauderdale. You got a lot of guys who can really score. That's what they did in Fort Lauderdale. They shared the wealth, got the puck all around.
Chance here off of the face-off. It's taken back on the other side. That was Bayshire dealing it back in past the right circle of Silliman. This will go back up, and Israel will get back in possession as the South tries to deal it back down. They won the second period as both teams at 1-all on the point side for the CHS All-Star Challenge. Dump back, Riggins with a shot, goes high and wide off the glass. Banas back in possession. Banas with the switch around, Riggins with a shot, trying to get it on the back door for a follow-through. Did Scove, but did not have the angle. As this will go back into the splash zone of the benches, and you see Coach Kyle now having a little bit of a smile as puck went around several of the players that he's leading in this All-Star Challenge.
Lucky for the South team there that puck did not fall on the stick of Carson Scove. He had an opportunity there on the back door, as you said, Spencer, that just fell flat.
Cooper will get it back in possession for the North as this goes back and will get across the blue line and dump in Callan Daly on a chance on the other side. Callan Daly can't get it past Silliman, who will shut it down.
What a good look by Callan Daly, able to get in there. Just the backhand was not there. Just again, a better save from Silliman. We saw him and really what he could do in the College Hockey South playoffs when he was playing for Florida State against Tennessee, that D3 matchup where Florida State got the best of the Volunteers. Such a good goalie, really good on his feet. What a save.
This will be sent back on a backhanded pass as the North tries to get it set back up, and South will get it back in possession. This goes over Wool. Michael Wool on the right side. This gets sent away by the goaltender for the South right now, which this gets sent back over. Back in front, Cooper looked like he wanted to get a one-timer there, but couldn't get the opportunity. Bryce Cooper, the freshman from the Division I Ice Falls. This gets a chance back in front, trying to get it past the defender. It's scooped up by Nick Reniger. This will get sent back down around the circles there. Marshall send it back around as this goes back around on the right side. Back over on the blue line, chance for Marshall to set things up. Marshall get it back off on the pass. Penetrante trying to get it in front with a deflection and couldn't get it successfully off the stick of his teammate. Back over, Flaherty with too high of a shot past the post. Penetrante will shovel forward with the puck as he goes out.
Trace Cowart may have gotten a stick on that one, Spencer. Redirect the puck out of the way of his goalie.
Flaherty tried to deal it in. Chance for the North to try and get something going. They are down by 1 here in this first game of the All-Star Challenge. Slung back along the glass and boards. This will get sent back around. Evans in the area trying to fight for it, as was Sullivan. This gets squeaked back out. Reniger trying to set things up. He'll get the pass off. Reniger will get the puck back to weave it through in the middle, but will settle for the pass off. This gets sent around. Ogle with a shot that goes high and wide. Back along Reniger just outside the blue line. Will deal it in. Flaherty got the pass off to him. Flaherty trying to get a deflection in front. And this will be shut down by Silliman.
Ricocheted off a few legs in front. As I've been saying all evening and all season, Spencer, you never know what can happen when you get bodies in front. It's a lot of chaos, a lot of turmoil in that crease, and pucks trickle in. Take chances, make mistakes, get messy. That's what I always say.
You know, Spencer, I'm really surprised Nick Reniger didn't take that himself. I saw him score the exact same way on the third Sunday in October back in Knoxville, Tennessee, early in the academic year. He had a beautiful goal by just taking it right up the middle, so I'm really surprised he didn't take that one himself because he can score from that angle.
I actually noticed the same thing, Charlie. A little bit of hesitation in the slot there.
This will get sent back down the ice. A hand up by the official, who will blow the whistle for an offsides.
I mean, we've seen a couple of these players honestly hesitate on some shots. I really think it's because when you're playing with new people, you really kind of want to spread the puck out and give everyone an opportunity, which just goes to show the unselfish culture in the college hockey South. You got a lot of guys that want their teammates to succeed, and we're seeing that firsthand.
Especially wanting to have each other succeed here at the CHS All-Star Challenge, as this gets back in the possession of Justin Evans. Fontaine trying to fight for it as the pass feed. Banas will send this back out. Palmer. Back in the area, Fontaine. Back over, this gets sent forward. And back to the neutral zone, Valesi. Valesi with Banas on the pressure. Valesi with the let to Evans, too strong. As Evans will send this back up. And back in the area, this goes over to Banas. Banas back out to the neutral zone. Palmer will just look on as this goes back into Alabama's Gulata. Gulata coming from the Division III University of Alabama team. Always good to see several players who are called up from the D3 scene to be at the All-Star level. A lot of D2 and D1 players on the men's scene here for both rosters. As Palmer will send it back forward. Gulata, Siciliano in the area, Cooper. Cooper will shovel it over. Getz trying to feed it in and could not get the deflection off of his teammate in Gulata. Here's Gulata again, dump it back Siciliano. Siciliano with the shot, goes off of the pad. Palmer trying to weave it through, and another shot saved by Silliman.
Palmer looking for the 5-hole. Are swallowed up pretty easily there out in front. But again, that chaos down behind the net, those dirty areas as I like to call them. Keep taking chances, might break into a tie here.
Lyndon Palmer, one of those guys who he also can really do everything out there on the ice, pass, score. That's why he is one of the leaders for that Middle Tennessee State University team. A senior, won't be back next year, but what a run he's had for MTSU.
Gets along the boards. This will get sent back out in the area. This is picked up by Grant Dietz, a name we've called a lot throughout this game, as this goes high, a deflection off the goaltender.
It looked like Cooper had more aspirations for that puck, stolen right off his stick. Luckily, Post bails out the goaltender once again. And the South remains up.
No, I'd be lying if I said I haven't seen Bryce Cooper do that before. He's one of those guys who, he has such a strong shot. He can fire that thing at, look, I'm not keeping track, but give or take 100 miles an hour. That's probably not accurate whatsoever, but a strong shot. I would hate to be back there trying to save one of those.
That's strong for the NHL, but a 6'6" defenseman, you never know what can come out of that.
And Cavallero trying to weave it through. I think what we're saying here is that we need to get a radar gun for Charlie so that you guys can have some measurements up here in the booth.
We'll certainly have one for the hardest shot competition coming up tomorrow. Stay tuned for that.
I'm sure they'll have one on standby as Riggins trying to go forward. This gets hit off of the glass as we reach the halfway point in the third period. Score has not changed from the intermission thus far. A 7-6 lead, as that was a chance for Scove to try and get it in, but not low enough to even tread with the crossbar. Reniger fighting for it initially as this goes off of Grant Dietz. Reniger fighting in front. Always interesting to see how some of these Division I men's players are having a struggle against these Division II men's players. Of course, several of the Division II players went deep in their runs in Jacksonville just about 2 weeks ago. As Riggins will get it back in possession on the switch, looking for a shot and a one-timer. On the follow-through, they score! The North will get on the board first in the third. Mitchell Spranklin on the back door.
They drew up this break-in perfectly, Spencer. They follow their passes. They stay in tandem, wait for open lanes. There's a lot of patience there for a team playing 5-on-5. It looked almost like a power play opportunity, and the North has tied the game.
Yeah, it looks like it was Mitchell Spranklin tapping that one in from University of Tennessee, representing the Vols. An incredible shot, able to just get right there. The one-timer, right place, right time, if you want to say that. Not much of a celebration from him. I was a little hesitant to even say he scored. He's acting like he's been there before, and it's because he has. One of the leading goal scorers for this Tennessee hockey team.
Sophomore from Southwest Ranches, Florida. We now have a period lead for the North team at 1-0 with the only goal that's been scored thus far in this final frame. As we get a chance to see the South try and go on the offensive side, and a good dart attempt there from Caleb Owens from Florida Atlantic gets shut down.
Read perfectly by Green despite the one-timer coming at him hot. Snapped up by the glove, beautifully getting across there in not a whole lot of time. That was impressive.
The other Tennessee Volunteer showcasing what he can do out there on the ice, Patrick Green, starting goalie for most of the season for the Volunteers.
Frazier dealt in front for a dangerous opportunity, as looks like the danger is not completely over until it gets into the stick possession of Jake Murphy. And you've been calling the Ice Falls games all season long, Charlie, so you especially know how good these Ice Balls have been, especially with how their run went in the CHS playoff.
Absolutely. I mean, a good team. Unfortunately, I will say, for the D1 and D3 playoffs, both teams came up short. As far as nationals, weren't exactly able to capitalize on being on the big stage. Lights got a little too bright. I don't know. They might get mad at me for saying that, but you got such a great team here, and head coach Drew King, I'm really excited to see what he does with the program next year.
Drew King leading this North roster. J.J. Murray for Middle Tennessee State as well on that bench. Kyle Nell, he's got another coach with him. We'll see if we can get that name soon. As weaving through traffic on the shot, it's a goal for the North. Callan Daly from Auburn banks it in.
And they're pulling out a few of the tricks that it seems like the women's team were using in terms of getting some breakaways going. That one obviously not resulting in a breakaway. A couple defensemen back, but it creates a nice crossing opportunity in the slot there. And he will capitalize to give the North the lead.
Well, I feel like it's deja vu. I mean, I think I've seen the same sort of strategy used for the goal, coming down the left side, cutting into the right backhander. Again, the players seem to love that sort of angle, and it seems to be working.
Oh, absolutely. Coming at it across the net as opposed to attacking the net forwardly, absolutely. Creates more opportunities. Gets that goalie in that side-to-side motion that you want to see if you're going to open up shooting lanes.
Chance in front on the right side. Waited to fire up the opportunity there for Michael Wool, but another good save there by Patrick Green.
Green kept the 5-hole there open a little longer than you'd normally like to see. Luckily caught enough of it with the pad.
A 2-0 scoring run thus far, if you could call it that, for the North in the third period, as they lead both the third and they lead the game at 8-7, looking for a chance to get 4 points by the end of the night, which would get them at a 5-1 advantage heading into the skills competition tomorrow, as Flaherty gets back with the puck. Flaherty tried to pass it off, and it gets intercepted there by Trace Cowart. This gets back over in the area, looking back to shovel it forward. This gets possessed by Bailey and dumped back out to the neutral zone. Flaherty back along the right side of the goaltender in the south. They've got Silliman still in net, as this gets shoveled away by Siciliano. To Mumbrum, send it back down. And chance here for Fontaine to try to weave it forward. Nicholas Fontaine, send it back over, looking for the pass. This goes back in the possession of Gulata, who will try to clear the zone, but the danger still there. Evans and company, a shot that goes high and wide, attempted there from Valesi. And chance for Lyndon Palmer on a breakaway. Lyndon Palmer with a shot that goes off of the pads. Save there by the South's goaltender in Silliman. Palmer's really been trying to get a goal here in this first All-Star game.
He's chipping away at it, Spencer. He's had a lot of opportunities today, a lot of good shots, just not finding the back of the net yet. It's a term called puck luck that I don't know how much I believe in, but it's certainly shown itself a little bit tonight.
Banas trying to shovel it forward, and that'll dislodge the net for a safety stoppage.
You know, Spencer, you have a mix of players from D1, D2, and D3 However, just from the eye test, I really don't see a difference in play style. A lot of these guys have proven that they can play with each other. I mean, Siciliano back there for the South team from Florida State, he's on D3, but he's looked pretty solid in this game. I mean, it's amazing to see the skill that comes out when you get all these players on the same ice.
Patrick Green had to stick the puck away as Siciliano gets it back in his possession. Palmer trying to go on a breakaway. Patillo radar attempt there as it goes back to Griffin. Tries to weave through and can't get the better of Banas. This will go back over, and Gulata lost sight of the puck. Evans will get it back. Evans looking for Fontaine on the other side of the blue line. Griffin. A little fight for it as Riggins looked for it. Valesi back over. Oh, that was Dietz who tried to get back for a shot as it gets gloved down there by Green. Final 3:50 left to go in the third period.
Seems like this period went by much, much quicker. Maybe it's the fewer stoppages of play. We've seen a much more dialed back third period than we got in the women's game. The goals have slowed down a little bit. The goalies are feeling themselves, coming into their own. And it's going to be a tight finish for an 8-5 game.
8-7 game right now in favor of Team North, trying to sweep with the third period. But right now the South have something to say about it as they tie up the score after a dart from David Israel.
I really should leave. How many times can I jinx the goaltenders in one night? My goodness, puck tight to the boards. See it kicked across, you get that side-to-side motion. That's one way to achieve it on the one-on-one is you skate across the ice yourself. Those tape-to-tape passes are how you do it with a team, and this South team is doing just that. They're playing as a unit, they're playing very cohesively, and we've got a tie game.
You know, the helmets out there for the South almost look like Christmas ornaments. You got the green and the red up top. I know that's not exactly a hockey analyst type of response to the goal that just happened. Just wanted to point it out here, but.
And we're also in April, not even close to Christmas in July.
Great goal, though.
Hard not to feel like a winter wonderland with the ice rocketing here, Spencer.
Fair enough. Winter wonderland, the ice dust coming around. It's feels like it's winter in here.
I mean, look, both teams delivering the present of great hockey, so it's somewhat Christmas related.
This gets dumped in front, a dangerous chance with the goaltender and Patrick outside of his crease as this gets back over. Cavallero trying to fight for it there, and the North will reset. Keep in mind, North leads 2-1 in the third period here, so they could very well still get an extra point, depending on how these things shape out. Dangerous chance in front. Good job of Silliman to stand his ground as that almost went up on the top shelf. And back over on the left wing, a shot that sneaks its way in. How in the world did David Israel get it in? It's 2-2 on the tiebreaker side, but it's a 9-8 lead for the South.
Let's take a look at it, Spencer. Comes down the boards with it, somehow escapes with it, didn't finish his check on the north side there. That coach, listen, if this were a real game, if this were a game that with any kind of playoff implications at all, he might be sitting after that play. You've got to finish your checks. You got to throw some body into the boards, separate the puck from the man, and that's what happens when you don't. You get goals on the board and you lose the lead.
And you know, if you're David Israel, that's one way to celebrate your birthday as he gets a goal on his birthday. The Toronto native, what a present for him. A great shot, able to sneak one in there. Unbelievable. I wouldn't be surprised if I played with this guy when I used to live in Toronto, Canada. The name looks a little familiar.
Yeah,
what a shot.
Yeah, David Israel, he's trying to maybe get a hat trick on his birthday too. Just turned 25 today, so happy birthday to the Ontario, Canada native. He had an incredible career in his third season. He was previously with the Brookings Blizzard of the NAHL. As a senior at 6'3", managed to get a good look there with the final 2 minutes of regulation. 9-8 lead for the South over the North, and it's tied in the period in terms of points. So the North at least trying to escape with something here as this gets shot and gets swallowed up by Silliman.
Connor Frazier taking a stab at it there, trying to sneak one in there. Wasn't able to do so. The captain for Tennessee hockey, he's going to face off here. He's definitely going to want to try to get one in this game.
1:40 left to go in regulation. This is now desperation time for the North as you know wipeout there in the neutral zone by Ryan Andrews. Flaherty on the left side trying to go in for a potential pass, but opts to get it back around. Backward pass. Renninger trying to weave it through, and it goes off of the pad of Silliman and gets out of harm's way. Back at 2. This getting cleared off of the ice, and it goes off of the contact of Ryan Bailey to clear the icing, as there will be the empty net as well here with about 1:06 left to go, because the North know exactly what they're in as they get a goal. Ryan Bailey makes it even after the goaltender gets pulled. Successful for them to lead the period and potentially force this to overtime.
Right after the almost empty net, Spencer, that 6-on-5 showing its advantage. The movement there is just so clean through the pocket. There's too much going on for 4 men to handle, or excuse me, 5.
Yeah, well, he took that
Found
one
the
all
slot
the way down the
excellently.
ice. Again, too much for them to handle. The North, they've been just letting it go here this whole entire game, and right now it's really showing. 1 minute to go, tie game.
Marshall trying to get it through Penetrante as the South try to get a lead here and break the hearts of the North team as they head into the rest of the skills challenges. Marshall. This goes back over, is sent forward by Ogle. Get back along the boards into the North zone. South trying to fend it off. Wool in the area. O'Connell just forced to look along. Ogle, O'Connell gets back over into the possession of Danny Griffin. Marshall in pursuit. The TO in pursuit as well. Ogle over to Bailey. Here's Bailey, will send it up, and here's a chance weaving through. DeMumbrum with the one-on-one chance. He gets denied by Matthew Silliman.
With less than 2 seconds remaining, Spencer, my goodness, what a move to make that move happen, or to make that situation happen at the blue line. Right there, he cuts inside, beats a few men, forehand, backhand, denied, and we're going to overtime.
Oh, they really do not want me to go home.
No.
I mean, what a shot. He just wasn't able to finish. The post got it instead. I mean, 2 seconds left, tie game. You don't get really much of a more cinematic ending than that could have been, but what we will get is another 5 minutes of College Hockey South All-Star Hockey.
Seems like the cinematic ending is yet to come, Charlie. That's what the next 5 minutes are for.
I've been waiting for it since we were in Athens, I'll tell you that.
Ever since I saw that overtime, that caveat for extra points going to overtime for both of these teams now, it's going to get interesting. Everyone fighting, scrapping for that last point, just as you would in an NHL game.
Well, this will give us a perfect time to remind you of the point scenarios for the CHS All-Star Challenge. Well, at least it should be. This will be let me see if he cues it again. This would be a perfect time to remind you of the point scenarios. Yeah, James isn't paying attention, our producer James, but we got 3-on-3 for 5 minutes. There we go. Thank you, James. So this is now at 9-9. So with that, I believe the North won that last period, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it the South that won the last one with the scoring total?
To the South, Spencer.
Okay. Okay. So in that case, if the South won the third, okay. Yeah, it was 7-6 heading into this intermission. So the North won. So they're 2-1 on the points total right now. One team is going to end here with a point. Team is going to get 2 points winning it in a shootout, if it comes to that. But in terms of overtime, we'll see how this goes. It's 3-on-3. Got to see a lot of exciting 3-on-3 matchups in Jacksonville, at least a handful of them. Sudden death, it's golden goal. Banas going for a shot that goes off of the pad of Silliman.
And Spencer, with all this open ice and all the goals we've seen scored with less than open ice, I'd be shocked if we see a shootout here.
You got Riggins, Scove, and Banas on for the North as they get a shot that fires wide. Scove will have to reset. They'll go back out to the neutral zone. Riggins. You got Valesi Fontaine as well as Danny Griffin on for the South in terms of the 3 players on the ice. Goaltenders, you got the same that started in Silliman and Patrick Green as this goes off the pad of Silliman. And just a 5-minute 3-on-3 with 60 seconds of that shaved off now. Siciliano coming off of the bench, who's dangerous to score. And here's an opportunity. Danny Griffin, the junior from Tampa. One person to beat, gets the pass off in front, broken up by Siciliano.
Normally I don't condone breaking the rules very often, Spencer, but Higgins made the correct play, chasing down the shooter there. Normally in 2-on-1 scenarios as a defenseman, you want to take the passer, but in 3-on-3, it's anybody's game. You chase that puck down, and you take that man out.
And a great chance in front. Another chance for Grant Dietz to try and weave it through as this goes back along the blue line. Almost could have had a backhanded goal there as Israel will take it back.
The pipe bails the North out once again, Spencer.
You know, Will, I am someone to break the rules, and I will say, I mean, that was a good heads-up play, like you said, to get back there and just make sure you don't allow anything to happen. Again, a smart play by Riggins. That's why he's the MVP of the College Hockey South.
Absolutely. Forecheck, backcheck, paycheck, as they say, and we've seen both here on this long shift for Riggins as there you go, finally take a change.
Siciliano getting poked for it there as it gets possessed going down. Cavallero, I beg your pardon, Dietz with a shot that goes off of the goaltender in green. Green trying to stand his ground, as is Silliman. These goaltenders not wanting to sneak it past them or potentially give up a loss, as Cooper will let it back. Palmer, who's been hungry for a goal, chipping away at it, will possess it along the outside circle. Palmer will try to go inside. Palmer trying to go for a one-timer. Silliman will poke it away, and it almost had a chance for a rocket of a shot in front. Cavallero dump this off to Dietz. Grant Dietz trying to get it around. Dietz with a shot goes off of the pad of green.
Grant Dietz, another one of those guys who's been doing so much with the tight ice tonight. A lot of bodies that he has to weave around.
Franklin scores! The ice ball for the season scores it in overtime. And the North, after being down to the south most of the game, will take it.
Good. That short side shot that worked so well for the women's team has bailed out the North as they were at risk of blowing a pretty hefty lead there.
Mitchell Spranklin showing us why good old Rocky Top hockey players are in this All-Star game. What a shot from the Volunteer, and what an ending to, I want to say, a high-scoring game.
You want to say that? You could say it.
Yeah.
10-9, the final score in overtime at the 2:10 mark. The North gets the victory over the South. One more reminder on the point side. So it is not a shootout. So I believe it's 3 points still winning the game. It's some sort of regulation, because it doesn't have on here for overtime, because that was not a shootout. So we don't have that on there. So I believe it would be 3 points, and the team losing, normally how it is in hockey anyways, you get a point for losing in overtime. So in that case, the South would get a point. We'll get a clarity on that as we go forward, but right now 5-3 on the point side in favor of the North. But great start to the CHS All-Star Challenge, and that is going to take us to the end of our time here on the air. For Charlie Serafian, one last time, we'll get you a reminder on the schedule. The women's skills competition at 10 a.m. tomorrow. At noon, the men's skills competition right here from Clarksville, and then rounded out at 10 a.m., 12:30 on Sunday.
I heard a rumor there's going to be an ice cam for this one, Spencer, and possibly following the players around potentially. We'll see what tomorrow brings. A lot of exciting stuff.
Well, that'll wrap things up here for Charlie Serafian, Will Morrow, Chloe Rigdon, our producer James Shannon, director Eli Cornett, all the hardworking men and women that make this run so smoothly. I'm Spencer Thompson saying so long from Clarksville as the North All-Star men's team get it done in overtime over the South.